Big Blue Nation. Big Blue Nation. Turn up the volume. Turn up the volume. You've arrived at the ultimate destination for Kentucky game day. This is the Bleed Blue Kentucky pregame show. Touchdown.
What's going on, Big Blue Nation? We are coming to you live from my loft. I think that's just the best way to put it. I don't know where else.
We're kind of in a cave.
It feels it's cozy though, right? Like
we're definitely snug here behind this desk.
Definitely a little snug. We are doing this for the first time where we are multicasting to you live. We are coming to you live, obviously, on 102.7 The Game right now. We are also live on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch. So very excited to be with you guys. It is another Kentucky game day. Jaden is back from Canada. Did you catch anything when you went up there? You know,
no. Canada was good. Traffic's really bad. I don't know if you've ever been to Canada. Tim Hortons was really good.
I've been to Canada one time.
What'd you do in Canada?
Went and saw the Niagara Falls.
Yeah, we saw Niagara Falls too. Canada side or New York side?
Both.
Well, yeah, you're better than me. We only got to Canada side, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I'm glad I'm back. I feel like I haven't talked about football and anything in forever.
Yeah, I don't feel like you've missed a lot in that time period.
I've missed a lot of bad.
Yeah, you have missed a lot of not fun. So Kentucky is limping into this game a little bit, obviously, coming off a loss to Florida last week, 48-20. I don't think the score was as indicative of how the game went, but also the game did not. It was not fun. It was not well.
It was, but it was really only like a short spurt of time where we looked like we had any momentum, and for a second, we looked like the team that we expected. We had Berrien making explosive plays. The defense was getting stops and forcing turnovers, and then they kind of fell apart again. And again, they didn't, stand up in the face of adversity where you thought they might for a second. And they really let it slip away from them. They let the Florida offense get explosive, which is about the only thing that DJ Lagway could do. They didn't really get after him and make him stressed at all. And I think that's why we ended up in a lot of bad situations throughout that game. Offensively, you would think that they would have it figured out by now, but I don't really know where to go when the offensive line is struggling the way it is. I mean, you would think that they would get a little more horizontal maybe and try to make the offensive line less of a factor, but they struggle to find playmakers that can do that. Berrien should be, but he kind of dances around and doesn't make many people miss for some reason.
We're not doing a very good job of getting him the ball either. I feel like, he had the one thing with Berrien, I will give him credit with is last weekend, obviously, he did a decent job of, getting back after he dropped the ball that ended up being a pick, leading to points. But I overall, we've got to be better than what we have been. That's for sure, because it's not been very fun.
It's just frustrating because all of the players have real talents and have good skills that you should be able to use in an offense, but they're not finding a way to use each person's skills individually. I kind of compare it to Mark Pope since we're, basketball season's coming up. We all talk about how the pieces are supposed to fit, and that's why they're going to be maybe better than the individual players say they are. The football team almost feels like the opposite. The players are good, and we'll get into it a little bit. Auburn is pretty much the same exact thing we are. Both of these teams are coming in here towards the bottom of the SEC, and both of these teams are probably top half of the SEC in talent, and it's just not clicked. They're both bad situationally, both teams.
Isn't Auburn one of the top teams in explosive plays in the SEC?
Oh, yeah, they're one of the top.
So what's crazy is Kentucky also is the least penalized team in the conference, and look where we're at. And then also Auburn is averaging, I think, one of the highest yards per play or something, and they're 2-5. Make it make sense. This season does not make sense at all.
I have the number on. So they're top 30 in yards per rush, top 20 in yards per drop back. They it's a very efficient offense, and like they run the ball well. Their starting running back Jarquez Hunter is a good player. He averages like 83 yards a game. The receiving group is really good. Keandre Lambert-Smith, Malcolm Simmons, and Cam Coleman, the true freshman, are all really good. Lambert-Smith's kind of the ace of that group, kind of the top of that room. But Cam Coleman does a lot of those skinny posts and a lot of those deep routes that we saw Florida hit us with. It's a concern because Cam Coleman will run exactly the routes, the deep over the middle routes that they ran, and Cam Coleman averages 26 yards a catch.
It was not fun last week at all on any aspect. We kind of talked about that obviously on well, I did. It wasn't we. It was definitely just me. You were not on that, but a little bit just about how this is still a very big game for Kentucky. Obviously, getting to a bowl, this is a massive recruiting weekend. That is the one thing I don't think people realize. Not going to be very good with a bunch of 4 and 5 stars in the stands if it's empty. This is the part where I challenge the Bleed Blue Nation and the fans and everything like that. We can talk about, you change. Listen, number one, let's just get the monkey out, throw everything out. We're not getting Mark Stoops is not Mark Stoops is only leaving Kentucky if he wants to leave Kentucky. He's a $44 million buyout.
Kentucky doesn't get to make that decision.
So if we want to still be good and everything, we want good players, right? So we still have to build a foundational aspect. We've got good players, transfers coming in, things like that.
Picked up one this week.
Yeah, very good. I mean, over Ohio State. I mean, the
Cincinnati flip from South Carolina, Michael Skinner, tight end. Kind of reminds me of Isaiah Cummings, more of a receiving tight end, gets vertical up the field, less of a mauling blocker, but he is pretty good, getting in motion and lighting people up when he's moving instead of maybe a traditional run block, like a Caddis style of thing.
Yeah, a very athletic, really good size. Obviously, picked us over several, big time traditional powerhouse schools. I feel like I'm glowing in the white shirt. By the way, I don't know if I'm glowing.
I haven't looked at the picture. The black
there
shirt that I have.
There we go. Is that a little bit better? Maybe that's a little better, right?
Now we look like we're sitting in a dark cave a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like there we go. I mean, I have to put some blue on. I think just in the commercial or something because I feel like I'm just a highlighter at this point. But the big thing I think not even the big thing. The overall aspect is Kentucky needs to. The fan base hopefully doesn't completely jump. I don't think it's going to be as empty as some people say tonight. What do you think?
I was about to ask you the same thing. I think that a lot of people decided that this was their home game to come to because Georgia was really expensive and the rest of the games weren't, great on paper at the beginning of the season. So I think a lot of people decided that this would be their one game and that they'll still come. So I think it'll be 85-90%. The corners of the top will be a little empty.
How do you think the student section is going to be with fall break?
It won't be students. It'll be a bunch of people coming home and a bunch of people's parents. But I think it'll be full, at least the lower bowl. I don't think they'll fill up the top corner, but I don't know how long they'll stay if things start to go.
Well, let's hopefully not have to go down that road. From that perspective and really talk about. I really don't want to do this again next week.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really sad to lose to Auburn because now you have to beat a top 10 team on the road to go to a bowl game. And I know that they use that bowl streak a lot in recruiting, and they use that consistency to kind of show what they've built Kentucky into. It's a negotiating tactic in his contracts. So they would really like to make a bowl, and it becomes really hard to think they're going to do that if you lose to Auburn, who has somehow lost more games than you have.
Yeah. Joe said you are always glowing in the chat. It's phenomenal. Thanks, Joe.
Very nice guy.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. I think the thing also with the game today is you don't want to go winless in the SEC. Kentucky's been absolutely horrendous over the last 11, 12 games at home in conference play. You need this in a lot of aspects. The fan base has shown up and shown out. I think every single game this year. Kentucky's shown up and shown out in one of them.
Yeah, I think it would be the first time,
SEC wise, at least.
I think it would be the first time since 2012 that they've lost all 4 SEC home games. that's, we obviously didn't do very well in 2012. I think we won 2 total games.
That was 11, wasn't it? Because Stoops has been here since 2012.
I think it was his first season.
Yeah, we didn't
the
win
year
any.
we lost to Western.
We didn't win any 2 years in a row.
Well, we played like top 10 Florida, top 10 Bama, top 10 Tennessee, and like Georgia or somebody else that was good. And so that's tough to do. But I think that was the last time that happened. And yeah, they've upgraded the environment at Kroger Field with the lights and all the sounds and all the things they have going on. The fans have all been really good. The students have been there early, but they're not putting a product on the field that's giving people a reason to come back. And 7:45 kickoff with some other games going on, I can see people sitting in the parking lot and watching a multi-view or something.
Are there a lot of really good games though tonight? Like I feel like there's not a ton of like high profile games to see top 25. I mean, obviously you've got Miami and FSU. That's kind of like a marquee game just from a name perspective. But I mean, Miami should, in all aspect, run them. I think the most interesting game of the day is Texas at Vanderbilt.
Texas at Vanderbilt's going to be fun. Has that game started yet?
That game's it starts in 4 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Texas is 17-point favorite, by the way. I feel like I would take the under on that.
All right. Well, are we going to do the prediction now, or are we going to do it? Are we going to do it later?
I'm not. There's no prediction. I'm just saying I would take the under.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas is going to try to make a statement because all of a sudden, like, there's a game tonight. LSU and A&M is for number 1 seed in the SEC. Yeah. Like all of the really good teams have lost a game. So if Texas were to lose another one, they could just schedule their way out of the SEC championship, schedule their way into playing a road game in the first round of the playoffs.
If they even get to the playoffs. I mean, let's be honest, like the way things are going, there's a lot that happens. Now, I will say one team I think was eliminated today from playoff contention. That was Navy. I was actually really excited to watch that game. I thought that would be a better game. If Navy would have won, obviously they would have had a shot at the playoffs, but that was just horrendous and it was ugly.
So we really needed Army and Navy to beat Notre Dame so that we could have Army-Navy weekend. And then they play in the conference championship, and both of those games were for the playoff.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been a lot of fun. But Navy decided to fumble on their first 2 possessions after not fumbling for the entire season, running triple option, which was impressive in itself. But yeah, they pretty much just threw the game away in the first quarter, and Notre Dame ran away with it.
Alabama's up with 5:43 in the first against Missouri. BYU is up 7-0 against UCF. Oregon has jumped all over Illinois in the first. They're up 14-0, and they have the ball back. Kind of looking at a couple games earlier, Ohio State, another squeaky game, 21-17. This is one where they're starting not to start well. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago. Playing teams a little bit better, not doing as well. Obviously, we talked about Notre Dame to absolutely punch Navy in the mouth, 51-14. Indiana improves to 8-0. I don't even know I'm saying that out loud. 31-17. Their schedule still is not impressive to me.
It's not. Where do they play Ohio State?
But they're 8. Look, game 10, I think.
So it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks.
Penn State next week.
I don't know. Maybe we'll take a look at that. Oklahoma took the lead into halftime against Ole Miss. Ole Miss shuts them out in the second half, wins 26-14. Pitt absolutely destroys Syracuse 41-13, moves to 7-0. UNLV wins last night, a close one. Come from behind win 29-24 at UNLV. That rounds out the top 25. Jaden, any big shockers there for you?
I mean,
almost was one.
Shockers, not really, just because most of the games outside of Ohio State were competitive for the first half and then kind of walked away with at the end. But the Ohio State game was a lot of fun. I don't understand what's wrong with Ohio State. They on paper are the best team in the country, maybe the second best, but they don't play well and they never play good at the beginning of the game. And today maybe is the wake up call that one of these teams actually stayed with them in the second half. And maybe that'll wake them up that they couldn't just run away with it, but that's not going to work against the real teams. It's not a way to live.
Yeah, that's true. All right, everybody, we're going to take our first break. We will be right back. We'll talk a little bit of basketball in the next segment. I'm sure everyone's going to be excited about that. You're listening to the Bleed Blue Kentucky football pregame show on 102.7 The Game.
St. Camilla's Urgent Care and Family Practice is here for all your primary and urgent care needs. Visit stcamillasurgentcare.com to view our list of services.
Your clothing and housewares into hope for local neighbors in need at Owensboro St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Store, 200 East 18th Street, Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Can't come in? Schedule a pickup at 270-683-0062. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. May God bless you and your family.
Welcome back to the Bleed Blue Kentucky football pregame show on 102.7 The Game and streaming live on Twitter. I guess everybody did hear the commercials. I was excited, except for the fact that I muted it. Probably should find a little video thing to click when we're at commercial. I didn't think about that,
apparently,
to be honest with you.
Whatever you did to try to fix it did work. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Jaden, we played a basketball game this week. What did you think about that?
I do not believe that winning by 71 can ever be bad, and this was not one of those cases. So they looked really good. I did not expect them to look that good. Like Wesleyan's not a good team, but they've won 8 national championships at their level. They're not the worst team that we've ever played. And they had absolutely no answer. It's every clip you see is somebody doing the same action over and over again and doing another thing every time as the defense is moving. The freshmen looked like they had been playing in the system for years, especially at the end. Trent Noah got hot, but overall it was really encouraging that they already looked like they knew what they were doing on some of those decision points.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that was really exciting. I think the team looked very I think they look polished, but also with a lot of room for improvement, right? Like there was definitely some aspects where you're like, oh, that was but also the scoring at will was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, 50% from 3 on 42 attempts is. I will go on record that you won't lose a game where you do that. If that happens, then somebody can at me on Twitter. But I will say if we shoot 50% on 42 attempts, we'll win every game that happens. And that's encouraging for the rest of the season because if you can shoot, then you win. And that's I tweeted out when Trent Noah was hitting.
If you score, you win a lot of games.
Yeah,
right?
I tweeted when Trent Noah was shooting. I retweeted Casey. I said, "If you can shoot, you can play."
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters nowadays.
I don't think I will say this. I do not think that I don't think Travis Perry or Trent Noah are going to play a whole lot this season. No. Just me. I think it's also the defensive side of the ball, which is probably more reason why from that perspective. What do you think?
It's not that they're not good players. Obviously, they're good. We just watched them play. I mean, we watched them through the state tournament. I don't know if you went into that state championship game between them, but that was a really good game. They have better pplayers as the simplest way to say it. As Freddie Maggard once always said, it's not personal, it's personnel. They have better players than Trent Noah and Travis Perry, but they're going to get some play, and they'll get a lot of play in these early games, and they're building blocks for the future, kind of the Mark Pope MO, trying to build through continuity and throughout the years. So I feel like they're going to be the really annoying kid that comes in and hits 3 threes in a game his junior year. That seems to always happen against us. So I like the promise of the team, and they didn't even have Kirk Risa, who is like the lifeblood and the energy of the whole team. Jackson Robinson looked really good. Lamont Butler, I said in a story that's coming out soon, my prediction is he's the best defender since, I'm just going to say the Cal era because that's all that's happened in my life, really. But I think he's going to be the best defender since 2010. He's everywhere. He's like Ashton Hagans, but if Ashton Hagans was good at on-ball defense. The whole team looked like they were really good. Amari Williams was passing. I don't know how you play when you play like rec or anything, but I
just shoot a lot.
I play like Amari Williams. Just try to pass every time I get the ball into the basket. I don't know. It's not the most effective, but he's much better at it than I am. So overall, I think that the team was really good, and I'm excited to see what they do against Montana State, Northwest Southern. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was something. It was,
but they're like they're really good for their record, like better than Wesleyan. I'm pretty sure is what when I was reading. That's what I read, that they're a competitive team and have beaten some good, like relatively known teams in the past. So I'm excited to see them play against them and see if it continues throughout the year. And obviously, all things are gearing up for Monday. You going to Monday's game?
I might be there. Yeah,
I think I'll be there.
It was very exciting to see the team, I think, live and in person, right, and not playing against themselves or the hype and everything, right? Right. There was a lot of plays I think the team made that was very mature, right. It was very mature. Lamont Butler early in the game obviously went up. He could have had a dunk. He didn't. Lays it in. Might have been a risky play. Maybe not. I mean, he might have been able to dunk it. Who knows?
Goes in.
But yeah, at the end of the day, like, there were those pieces, and if this is where the starting block is, I hate to see how this team improves. I mean, I don't hate it. I love it, but you know what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, and like I said, I think Kirk Kriisa is being undervalued a little bit from people, just from a mentality perspective, and giving Lamont Butler a little bit of a breather while adding a quietly 43% 3-point shooter. Just another guy that can come in and hit more threes, especially at a position where Lamont struggles to do that a little bit consistently. They're just they can run so fast on offense because they already know what they're getting into, and it's not robotic. They can, wherever they happen to be on the court, they just bounce into a set, and each set runs into a different one based on the motions. And that was, like I said, the most encouraging part to me is that they already knew how to flow from action to action. They knew how to make some of the decisions. Some of the connection with the teammates wasn't always there. They threw a couple where the guy made the decision, but the pass was not the decision he thought he was going to make. But overall, for a first game, I was pretty pleased with how they were.
Was there anybody that surprised you?
I mean,
or was there anything that surprised you about the game, or anyone's performance that you're like, oh, they're better than I thought. They played better than I thought they would, and anybody that you were like, hey, maybe there's a little bit more room to grow for them?
I'll go with the easy answers of Trent Noah and Ainsley Almanor for the guys that surprised me. Obviously hitting, what is that, 9 threes between the two of them.
Yeah.
If you had asked me 8.5 threes for Ainsley and Trent Noah, I would have said under. But I'd say that was probably the most surprising, players for me. But known as good shooters, but I didn't expect 9 of them. And I wanted to see more out of Brandon Garrison. Amari is the starter as far as we can tell, and Brandon Garrison is someone that has NBA upside, and people say he's like potentially the highest NBA draft pick on the team.
I think probably futuristically or future speaking, I would agree.
Yeah, him or Colin
he
Chandler,
looks big on the court, doesn't he? Like he looked big,
and he looks mobile, and he looks athletic, and he's had really
his shot was was not pretty though. I was not happy with his shot.
He's trying. It's Kentucky Wesleyan. He's trying things out. I don't believe.
Well, I heard that he was doing like his shot had improved and everything, but it didn't look very nice. We didn't get to see Amari's jump shot, which that's something we haven't seen yet.
My freshman year at the JC, my jump shot improved from like 4% to 8%. So like that, it can still be bad. But yeah, I wanted to see more of him kind of using some of those post moves and getting easy points where the paint is so spread out by all of the shooters that he has around him. But it's hard to complain when they scored 123 points. That's hard to do on air and 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think a big thing to talk about with this team is, with Cal's teams and how young they were, right? Like you would have growing pains, and you would have ways that or games where you might lose 2 or 3 in a row, and you play some good teams. I think if this team loses, which obviously this team's not going to win, they're not going to go undefeated. We're not going 31-0.
How dare you?
We're not going 31-0. I don't want to go 31-0. I'll just put it that way. Been there, done that. Didn't get a T-shirt, so
I didn't get a T-shirt either.
That was not fun. The the turnaround, I think, for this team is going to be much shorter, the learning curve, where, maybe they struggle, maybe the rotation's not as good, maybe some guys aren't hitting that normally would hit. I think the next game you're going to see them bounce back a lot faster, regardless of who they're playing, than you would have seen in years past, where maybe that one can turn into 3, but with this, that one might just stay 1.
Yeah, I think that's true, just because, I mean, the psyche of a 18-year-old, star that's not had troubles playing basketball before versus a 23-year-old on, like, some of these guys. For Jackson Robinson, they've lost games to teams that they should have lost to. They've lost close games. They've lost rivalry games. It's not going to be hard to coach them, because they've been through all of these situations where some of the some of the younger guys that we've seen in the past hadn't. Now, Arkansas did not look like they were struggling early in the season last night. How much of that?
I watched some of it. I think people
Kansas are playing their bench.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas,
it's just a fun exhibition.
Yeah, it was an exhibition game. I think people are looking way too into it. I think that you got Arkansas fans saying, "Oh, Kentucky fans watching Cal play last night." No,
I just wanted to watch the good basketball.
We weren't looking to that. We saw and noticed that Kansas was missing 3 key players in the game. It was an exhibition game. There was 19,000 people. It was at Arkansas. Arkansas had way more. They had way more into that game. You could see it meant way more to them. Talk to me when they're getting punched in the mouth when the games really matter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that Arkansas is going to be a great team. Now, it was kind of sad to me, honestly, to see the guys out there. Some of the hard guys, DJ and Adu and Z and all that.
I have so many more comments about that than, like, I saw people, oh yeah, it's good, but listen, they put up a billboard to get Z to play for Kentucky, and he left. All right.
Cal got him to America, though.
I don't care. I'm a Kentucky fan. They don't play for Kentucky anymore. Look at, like, Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, what they're doing, right? Like, they're putting North Carolina on a jersey. They're putting Louisville on it. They're throwing it. You think these guys are going to do that? No. These guys have no loyalty to Kentucky. So, excuse me, well, I just don't care. Like, I hope that when they come here, we smash them. I don't even care. I really don't even hope they even make the tournament. Like, it, and that's not a personal thing. I just don't root for anybody who left. They're not here. Bye. I don't care if they do well.
I didn't know I was getting you up on the soapbox there. I'm glad I was able to pull that rant out. That was pretty good. I don't even know how to follow that, really.
Well, it's a good thing we're up against, like, a commercial break then, isn't it?
That's good. I do need a commercial break right now.
You need one? You weren't prepared for it?
I was not prepared for the big rants.
You weren't?
From Arkansas basketball.
I mean, it's not just Arkansas. I think it's just in general. Like, I think we have to just let go. Like, it's time. Let go. Kentucky, Cal's gone. The players are gone. Those times are over. Let go. They're not Kentucky people. They're not over here caring about what we're thinking. Right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Let them go. We're done. All right, we got basketball out of the way. We've got another hour left of the Bleed Blue Kentucky football pregame show. You wouldn't know that it was a football pregame show for the last 15 minutes, but that's okay. We'll figure we would talk a little bit about what's going on with Kentucky's roster this weekend. Players that are out. There's a big player that potentially might not play as much as we think. We'll get into that the keys to the game and how that might affect our chances today. You're listening to the Bleed Blue football pregame show on 102.7 The Game.
Are you a sports fan looking for a place to get caught up with all the local, regional, and national sports news? Turn into Live at 5 on 102.7 The Game.
The greatest college basketball player to ever play.
That is absolutely disgusted me to open the show. This is disgusting. That is a disgusting thing to say.
I swear, they really do like each other.
It was your first chance to win a playoff game at home in forever. You've got to blame. He's a quarterback.
All right, dorks, go to your rooms until Live at 5.
Live at 5, weekdays on 102.7 The Game, courtesy of Foreman Watson Poultry.
Hey, Kentucky, it's election season again. Did you know it can take up to 15,000 volunteer poll workers to run an election in Kentucky? That's why we need your help. If you're concerned about election integrity or voter suppression, the solution is becoming a poll worker. We've made it easier than ever. Just head to sos.ky.gov and click on the Elections tab. With your help, we can make sure November's election runs smoothly. This message is sponsored by the Kentucky Secretary of State's Office, Kentucky Broadcasters Association, and this station.
When you're craving homemade food, head to Windy Hollow Biscuit House in the heart of Owensboro for a true Southern feast. This Saturday and Sunday, they're serving up their country ham breakfast buffet. And if you need a little pick-me-up, try the customer favorite. Caramel latte, iced or hot, the perfect companion to your home-style meal. Windy Hollow Biscuit House is open 6 days a week. Windy Hollow Biscuit House, 630 Emory Drive in Owensboro.
Something doesn't sound right.
How do you know?
My daddy always said you know a bad sound when you hear it.
That makes sense. Yep, that sounds bad.
No, not that.
Hey, your car sounds funny.
My hero.
Stop in Mattingly's Automotive Shop. Let the technicians help diagnose the sounds coming from your vehicle with tune-ups, tire repair, and more. Mattingly's Automotive is here to help. Give them a call at 683-4251 or stop in 2405 Beach Road.
I'm Jeff Koch, and this message is brought to you by Davis County Farm Bureau. Our Kentucky farmers face not only physical risk, but also mental health issues while on the farm. Davis County Farm Bureau wants you to know mental health is just as important as your physical health. You're not alone. Call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. I'm Jeff Koch, and this message is brought to you by Davis County Farm Bureau.
Welcome back to the Bleed Blue Kentucky football pregame show here on 102.7 The Game. I'm Paul with Jaden, and we are what time is it right now? We're a little over 3 hours until kickoff. 7:45. Feel like it's past my bedtime at this point.
Dude, it's dark in this room except for this one light. And
we could have turned the actual light on. I don't even know why I didn't even think about that.
That was definitely an option. Yes.
Yes. I was trying to have the mood lighting because you were anywhere so close. I figured it would just make it less awkward.
I mean, yeah.
If there's just ambient lighting.
It wouldn't fit the environment we have set if the lights were on.
Yeah. Let's get in a little bit about, with Kentucky today, missing a couple players. A couple key players are out. I don't know why. I pulled it up, and
I did as well, and I'm currently struggling.
And yeah, we pull it up. This is why we prepare for things. So obviously, Kentucky is a little thin today at running back. You have Demi Sumo-Karnbe is out. Chip Trainum is also out. You have basically, obviously Chip hadn't been out, but Demi had been playing. I think Demi had been playing fairly well. Probably should have gotten more touches. If you want to know my opinion, and if you don't want to know my opinion, I give it to you anyway because it's our show and I can do that. The running back room has been we've never been at 100%. All season. Obviously, you would think Wilcox is going to get the majority of carries today. Patterson is the backup, but there's not a lot behind him. We don't have a lot of depth now at running back. How do you think that shakes out today? And do you think Wilcox ties his shoes?
The whole Wilcox shoe tying thing has really hurt my head because I don't know. I really just want to ask him why his shoes are untied. Like I know we can't talk to. They don't talk to people that are that young or have things going on, but I just kind of want to know why he doesn't have his shoes tied. But it doesn't really matter because he's going to have to play today because they don't have. We
have nobody.
They don't have anybody else.
I mean, I don't know who else we're gonna play today.
Did we see some word that Berrien was going to be playing running back a little bit?
I don't know. I
been a thing that's been going on.
I have not seen that. I have not heard that. I mean, look, because I haven't heard it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. I'm not saying I don't think Berrien might not line up back there, but for him to get actual carries as a running back, it's different, right? Like that's a whole different set of skills. And look, maybe Barryon is a hell of a running back. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I think maybe you see a little bit more with Wimsatt. I would say Wimsatt playing in the backfield a little bit more might be something you would see.
If you kept talking earlier in the year about this Wimsatt Brock double formation that has some special
with Barryon,
stuff
yeah.
Is that like a situation?
I think that's more of a special play. Like, I'm not saying Barryon isn't back there. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Mark Stoops said in his press conference, everything's on the table, right? Like when it comes to the offense.
I'm just trying to figure out. They got to. I mean, I guess they could play 5 wide, but they can't block well enough to not have somebody back there.
Do you think that Mark Stoops is a little bit quicker on the draw today if Brock does not play well? I don't think Brock's 100% healthy.
No.
Obviously he's not listed on the injury report, but
he has been for like 3 weeks.
He has been, yeah. Do you think he's quicker on the draw to pull him and go with Gavin? Do you think Cutter Boley is someone we potentially see? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
think that we will probably see more Gavin just because you need to create more of a running threat to try to open up the gap that not having a running back, like if you can just take one more defender out of the way, maybe you can make an average running back look good, or even just a good young running back look, really good. But I think it's, I've just completely blanked on what we were talking about. What did you just ask me? I'm being dead serious. I just completely blanked.
Where have you been for the last?
I don't know. I started talking about.
I was asking if you think that Mark Stoops might be quicker on the draw today.
Yeah.
If we struggle offensively to go with Gavin, or potentially do we maybe even see Cutter Boley with some snaps potentially?
Okay. I'm back with you now.
All right, there you go. We're good.
Yeah. So I wrote.
You need a drink or something. We're really weird.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
We haven't had any. There's been no beer today, so I mean that's what it is. We're off our game a little.
I'm below maximum capacity right now.
We can fix that in the next break.
So I am of the opinion that the 2 quarterback thing is not good. I don't like that they switch them out and go back and forth.
I don't like that either. We wish they would stick with one or the other. Yes.
I wish that they would stick with Brock.
Yeah.
The whole point of bringing Brock in was that the rest of the team is really good this year. They needed somebody at quarterback that was good enough to win games, that could develop for a year and has all of the talent, but doesn't have it put together yet. What is this you're showing me? Oh my goodness. But year 2 was supposed to be him playing really well with a team that is probably a little bit less because of all the people that are going to be graduating or heading to the NFL. But we haven't gotten the team to mesh. So the good enough to win with a really good team hasn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can go away from it because you've invested in him for a 2-year plan. You've invested for Bush for a 2-year plan. Switching offensive coordinators for the 6th time in 6 years. Switching quarterbacks for the, I think, 5th time in 6 years if we did. Like, I don't know. It's hard to want someone to try to develop and then not let them play through a season of struggling when you're already out.
I think it takes a little bit of the game flow out. I would rather, if they were going to do that, Gavin gets a whole drive.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I don't like the 2 quarterback system where they're basically interchanging in a drive.
Yeah.
I like it. Look, if you want to have Brock go for 2 and then Gavin comes in for 1, I'd much rather that, because I feel like a quarterback has a chance to get in the rhythm and the flow. I think it throws the whole team off. I get it, what they're trying to do. They're trying to save hits on one quarterback versus the other. Look, you got no other team is doing this except in the red zone. So why do you think they're not? So knock it off. Like, stop it. Like, Bush, stop it. Like, stop.
There's the old saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks.
Correct. But I don't know if we have 2 quarterbacks, because Gavin does not throw the. I mean, I don't know. Gavin doesn't really throw the ball. I agree. I don't know why. I mean, he played. He started at Rutgers, so obviously he's got talent. He can do. But I don't understand why we don't do that, and that would make it to where I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. Looking elsewhere on the depth chart, obviously defensive back, we are a little thin there as well. You have Maxwell Hairston, who's obviously still out dealing with an infection in his shoulder. Jansen Dunn is out as well for this game, so that puts a lot more pressure on the depth of the secondary. Jansen Dunn, I thought, has been playing pretty decent this season.
Yeah, he's been good.
Obviously, it's not necessarily that does Kentucky have enough to compete in the game. It's if anything happens, right? Like it doesn't take a lot to tweak an ankle. You know, if you got to come out, we're down. Obviously, Nichols seems like he's fine. He's off the.
Yeah,
he's not on.
I
this.
was about to ask. I'm not.
Nichols doesn't seem.
Nichols. I hadn't noticed him.
Who I think is going to be an absolute star. He's a freshman. He's playing very, very, very well. Kentucky's got a lot of young talent, but it's unproven. This is a game, obviously, when we'll talk a little bit more about this, about the weird stats of this game, right, with Auburn. I think that it's very interesting from that perspective. Also, Jared Mincy is out for this game. I think is he a redshirt freshman or a true freshman? The kid from Kentucky who's making his first start at O-line.
Malachi Wood.
Yeah. He's a redshirt freshman, right?
Year. Yeah, because I saw him last year walking around campus, and he is one of the taller humans I've ever seen in my life. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8", and he was so skinny. I could not believe that he was an actual football player. And then apparently he put on like 30, 40 pounds. So now he played a lot in the Florida game, like 23 snaps. He was okay. He got beat on a pass rush rep pretty bad.
They are high on him though. They are high on him
with the weight gain. Like he was a good player in high school. He's
very athletic. He's very athletic.
Yeah, he was just too little to like play in the SEC. But now, they played pretty well last week, and he put on a bunch of weight. So they feel comfortable, and they like putting him out there. So I'm fine with it as well.
Just to remind everyone, if you are on Twitter and watching this, you can go to @BleedB Network under the live stream, ask questions. It'll go. It'll basically go and give a chat. We have a chat if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Facebook, Instagram. You can put a comment there. There's a whole chat, so we can have a conversation. If you have questions, you can ask us questions about the game. Even if you want to ask basketball questions, that's totally fine as well. But yeah, I mean, whatever you guys want to do, if you want to get involved in the pregame show. The big news, obviously, Dan Walker is now questionable for the game. Keyshawn Silver got upgraded to probable. De'Eric Jackson is also probable, but obviously Deion Walker, he sent a little bit of a cryptic text, obviously, today. I don't know if you saw that. I will pull it up and just
live reaction here to Deion Walker's Twitter.
Deion Walker. Deion Walker today.
Do you know what the injury is?
I do not. Said, wow, this is the kind of love I get. And put that 15 hours ago. Very, very weird. Very cryptic.
I don't even know were people saying that he's not, like, it doesn't matter if he's hurt or
not? I don't know. I don't know if it was that or if people were saying he doesn't care. I don't know. I didn't see anything crazy.
I think I did see somebody call him Shaden Sharp, that he was like disappearing for the season now, but that seems a little bit ridiculous.
That seems a lot ridiculous. I mean he's not done that at all.
Anytime I've seen him, he's always seemed like a good kid.
I
say kid, he's like a year younger.
He
seems like a good person.
I've never seen
anybody that has a problem. I don't know anyone that has a problem with him. I don't think that he just doesn't care. I think he's
he's never had that MO either of that. Yeah, I mean, that's never been
a ton of snaps.
A ton of snaps. I mean,
and you could tell he gets tired because there's a couple of them he's taken off. But
does he take it off, or does he just not have the juice? I mean, but
okay. Well, then there's a couple plays where he's ran out of gas and he's not. Really
that I have seen that. Yeah,
they need to. They probably need to rotate him out a little bit more, and maybe that's some of the wear and tear is why he's questionable. But it's obviously not good if he doesn't play, because he is by far the best player on the team.
Yep.
And he is still a top half of the first round draft pick, and he pretty much is the whole engine that makes the defense run. So we would kind of need him out there, especially if we can try to stop Auburn's run game, then that would really help the back end on having more time, having more people in coverage if the defensive line can stop the Jarquez Hunter and them.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break. We will be right back with more Kentucky football, talking a little bit more about Auburn, their schedule, some keys to the game. We've still got about an hour and 15 minutes left. We're doing good on the breaks. We haven't messed one up yet. I think it's Kindle. Kindle's the bad juju in this whole thing.
She tends to be.
Kindle's at home, by the way. It's not, we didn't fire her or anything like that. She's just at home with her family today. And all three of us should be back either in a happier or pouting mood. So we'll be right back. You're listening to the Bleed Blue Kentucky Football Pregame Show on 102.7 The Game.
Green River Area Federal Credit Union has been serving the Owensboro community since 1959. With that comes being a proud supporter of not only area high school athletics, but also partnering with Live at 5, the #1 sports show in Western Kentucky. With a wide array of products to meet your financial needs, come see what a difference it makes when you partner with a local community credit union. Visit our new website, greenriverafcu.com, or stop by and see us today. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
From the kitchen to the laundry room, Fisher's Furniture and Appliances in Tell City can help you create a functional, stylish, and energy-efficient home with appliances designed for the busiest rooms in the house. We have great brands like Speed Queen, GE, Whirlpool, and Maytag in stock and ready for delivery. Our great service doesn't stop when you leave the store. Our experts are happy to service and repair anything you buy from us.
Feel the power of the road beneath you. Rick's Tire and Service can make it possible. Offering comprehensive car care from front-end repair and brake work to air conditioning and diagnostic services. We're more than just tires. Elevate your ride with our range of aftermarket accessories. Get those wheels, tires, level up with lift kits, sleek bumpers, bed covers, and running boards. Even lights? You bet. At Rick's, we customize your vehicle to reflect your style. Rick's Tire and Service, the place where we turn your car from basic to fantastic.
Shuffle into Champion Ford like a boss. Imagine your dream Ford calling your name, and guess what? We've got them all. F-150s, Broncos, Super Duties, Escapes, even Bronco Sports. You want it? We've got it. We're the #1 selling truck hub. So, what are you waiting for? Shop online at championowensboro.com. Champion Ford, proud sponsor of Davis County Player of the Week and KWC Athletics, where your Ford dreams come alive.
Beyond the Bench, a coach's perspective of local, regional, and national sports.
I think I was first. Now Bradley's first, so I knew I took a back seat when I saw that.
Our 5-star recruit, Coach Bradley Payne, he's got somebody riding his coattails.
Amazing. Beyond the Bench with Matt Briggins and Brad Payne each Monday, 6 p.m. here on 102.7. The Game.
Not everybody can get in the regional tournament. If you don't like it, get better or just suck it up. 1 to 2. So no.
Talking like a true
ninth district guy.
Welcome back to the Bleed Blue Kentucky football pregame show on 102.7 The Game. Also streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. And if we could get a few more followers on TikTok, we'll be there too. We're very close. We're going to try something very, very different. All right. We haven't tried this yet. We're going to try. We have a new live show that's going to be coming daily. Maybe it'll be on 102.7, Vic. And maybe if not, we're going to be obviously live streaming. But we have a number. If you want to text us, this is a text line. So if you want to shoot us questions or comments about Kentucky football, Kentucky basketball, you can text us at 859-412-2090. Text us your hot takes about the game, your predictions. Just throw your name in there. Your first name doesn't have to be obviously your last name. Throw your Twitter handle, your Instagram handle. Just let us know exactly what it is. And we'll give you a shout out. So 859-412-2090 on the text line. We're just going to try it for the last 45 minutes of the show, just see how it works. They want to do it for the whole show because maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I have no idea. So hopefully somebody at least sends a text. So that way I get it. 859-412-2090.
There's a lot of things up here in this room that I don't understand how they're working.
Yeah, what do you mean?
It would like the whole setup we have, streaming on all of the things at once. I don't really know how you've done that. I don't know how this text machine works, but
pretty good at it.
Yeah. You do your job.
It's almost like I've done this before.
Maybe once or twice.
This is not the first. Oh, we have a text. It's really a hot take though.
Yes, I'm excited.
It doesn't count. Nobody asked for his opinion though. But I guess we have to read it, right?
Yeah, you might as well read it.
This is from Rando, All UK Ball on Twitter. He is part of the team. He's just being a little bit of a smart aleck.
We may not have to read it.
I mean, I think he does. He said Rando is the best thing to happen to Bleed Blue since Mark Pope's offense. I feel like he could have done a better job at that.
Yeah, there was probably a better first text we could have gotten. halfway upsetting that's going to go down in the record books. But, Randa's, really making his mark. Get his name on the show.
Joe, Wildcats Joe, also part of the network. Breaking news.
Ooh.
Everybody like breaking news.
I do like breaking news.
Breaking news. Caden Lewis will commit to UK on November 2nd.
This is scoop.
Scoop.
This is scoop.
Scoop. Joe.
November 2nd. So
Caden Lewis.
Caden Lewis is a very good player. I put it on Twitter. We'll put out the challenge here to everybody listening. If you can find a nickname for 2 freshman lefty guards, we need to do that because Jasper and Caden are both lefties, and I feel like there has to be a nickname there, but I am not nearly smart enough to do that. But yeah, he's a really good player, really good with the ball in his hands, good shooter, honestly pretty similar to Jasper, and I think that was a lot of the holdup in his recruitment was playing with Jasper being something that they had to sell him on a little bit. But, if hopefully he ends up being a Cat, and from what we're hearing, it seems like it's likely that's going to happen.
For those of you who don't know, Joe is our basketball insider. He's got a really good record, actually, this recruiting season. So we're also throwing that on the Twitter machine. So let's see what happens. So, Joe, if it's wrong, it's your fault. Just letting you know. Just a reminder, if you just tuned in, hit us on the text line 859-412-2090 with your questions and hot takes or breaking news, as Joe just gave us some breaking news on Caden Lewis to Kentucky. That's some big basketball news. Obviously, Jaden, Auburn presents some very interesting challenges for the game today. Auburn comes in 2-5 overall. They are winless in SEC play, 0-4. They are winless, but they are winless in a way that makes me a little nervous.
They've been almost not winless a bunch of times.
Almost a bunch of times, yes.
Almost a bunch of times. And it's simply turnovers, and
they do turn the ball over a lot.
And not only do they turn the ball over, but they like to throw picks. Like
Texas and Vandy, by the way, is 14-7. That's a good game.
14-7 who?
14-7 Texas.
Yeah. I think Texas is gonna take that one. But
Alabama's struggling still 3-0 in the first half to Missouri. I don't think either team is very good.
No, that's probably the case, that neither team is very good, but Brady Cook being hurt's not helping. I kind of wanted to see if he could make some things happen with kind of a leaky Alabama defense, but that game seems like it's going to be one of those that maybe it's one that like they don't score forever, and then at the very end they score a bunch of points when they just start letting it fly. But getting back to Auburn, they're very efficient passing and rushing. On offense, the receivers' numbers are good. They have a lot of receiving yards a game. On defense, they have 2 guys on the defensive line that would both be our leading sack holder. And one of these days I'll find the screen that tells me they're now Jalen McLeod and Kendrick Falker are the 2 defensive linemen that kind of run things for him. Dorian Masai is the defense linebacker, and Jaron Thompson kind of plays all over the field, but he's mainly a safety, kind of a Zion Childress where he plays multiple levels throughout the game. But the defense is not that good, but it's worse against the pass. So it could be another game where you can try to get the receivers going, see if you can get Dane Key over the middle, but teams are starting to sit on that a little bit, and they're sitting on the deep dig and the slant, trying to take that away, and it worked against us the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking from Auburn's big playability, right? Like what they bring to the table. Obviously, Kentucky had done a really good job of limiting explosive plays up until this week against Florida, which was very mind-boggling. They actually didn't do terrible against the run at times when they knew the run was coming. Obviously, there are some bad calls that went against Kentucky that I still don't think we've had an explanation for, but that's neither here nor there, obviously. But explosive plays today, if Kentucky can limit those, you got to think they have a really good shot at winning the game today.
Yeah, so Brad White has built the defense on not allowing explosives and getting stops in the red zone. Auburn is really good at getting explosives, really bad at scoring in the red zone. The problem is we have not been good, the last 2 weeks really, at stopping people from scoring when they're in the red zone. So it's kind of 2 teams that are playing identical, 2 teams that are really bad at really good at getting to the spot and really bad at winning in their opportunities to get ahead in the game. But That's why I really have no idea where I'm going with the prediction at the end of the game. I don't think there's a result that could surprise me, to be honest with you. Like, is there a situation, like if they were to win by 14, if we were to win by 14, would that really surprise you? It feels like it's kind of the same teams
would not surprise me.
Doing the same dumb things over and over again. So I don't know. I definitely think that Kentucky is the better team, just talent wise, but both teams have kind of played very disappointing. The good thing is we have had games where we have looked really good, and all of their games where they've looked good are against, the bad teams that they've played, the Alabama A&Ms. Like Brady Cook was injured. They only got to 17 points and they still lost to Missouri. And Missouri has not been playing well. So
and Missouri had to come from behind in that game. They shut them out
Auburn
15-0 in the fourth quarter.
And they started doing the turnovers and they started not converting on possessions, and they let Auburn come back into the game, or Missouri come back in the game when they had no right to be there. So it's really, and to me, it doesn't matter what the score is. At team, they could flip at any moment. Peyton Thorne can throw himself his fourth or fifth pick six of the season, and you could be right back in a game if you're down. And obviously, we've shown the tendency to allow things to happen in bunches as well throughout the season. So
Joe's just throwing all the news out there. Joe is also saying that he believes Caleb Wilson will become to Kentucky, even though Arkansas is throwing a higher amount of NIL. He wants to team up with Lewis, and also expects him to commit shortly after Lewis does. That date is not yet determined. So some potentially big basketball news coming in right now on the text line. Obviously, it's from one of ours, but that's still big news.
Yeah. Caleb Wilson is kind of a similar build to Justin Edwards, where he's kind of a tall, lanky wing / small ball 4 kind of guy, but he's a really good defender, really long and athletic, really has a lot of effort on the defensive end, and offensively he struggles a little bit sometimes when he gets against people that are kind of his size, but overall he's a good offensive player. It's just, some people are good, some people are really good at defense, but mainly the defensive end is where he's going to make his money.
This has been a fun show so far. A lot of things going on.
I know. People texting in all sorts of news. If other people have news and
news or questions or whatever, give us a text. Give us your score predictions as well for the game, 859-412-2090. Really just want more people to do it, so that way Rando isn't like, the only one that was like I was the first and the best.
Yeah,
and
you can see his name still.
Yeah, it's just you just need a lot of texts to come in to push his name down, right? Like it's horrendous from that perspective. Joe said Kindle is the glue. Obviously, Kindle came into our chat and said literally log on to listen to the show to hear that I'm the bad luck of it. It was great timing on Kindle's part.
Well, I mean, if she didn't want us to say it, she should stop being the curse. I don't know what to tell her.
I don't know. I guess it just depends on if we win, right? Like have you picked Kentucky to win a game this year?
Yeah, but every time I pick them
to win, I think you picked them twice.
Every time I pick them to win, they lose. And every time I pick them to struggle, they win or play really well. So I have considered also making my pick based on the curse, but I don't know if that makes it go away if you try to play the curse. So I really have not figured out what I'm going to do at the end of this show. I'm not excited to have to make a prediction, but I am excited to be there. Look cold.
I can't wait. I've been so mad about like the actual weather for games. It's been warm. I haven't had to wear long sleeves to a game yet. I'm excited about wearing long sleeves to the game tonight.
Yeah, I already got the long sleeves on. Obviously,
this will be the first game. My entire family, all 5 of us are at a game. This is the very first one.
There you go.
All 3 kids.
How excited are you for that?
I'm very excited knowing that there will be help there.
The people around you are very excited to see the baby.
Well, they just lost their dad a little over a week ago, so that'll be it'll be nice. Like okay, it'll be good to see them, and I'm glad they're going. And we talked about it last week a little bit, but I'm glad they're going, and I'm glad that hopefully the kids will put a little bit of a smile on their face. We got a top of the hour break. We'll be right back on the Bleed Blue Kentucky Football Pregame Show on 102.7 The Game.
St. Camilla's Urgent Care and Family Practice is here for all your primary and urgent care needs. Visit stcamillasurgentcare.com to view our list of services, including complete primary care needs, COVID screenings, minor surgeries, minor illness treatments, sport and school physicals, routine screenings, flu shots, and more. With locations in Owensboro, Lewisport, Hardingsburg, and Litchfield, St. Camilla's is your hometown provider for all your primary and urgent care and family needs. Visit stcamillasurgentcare.com.
Hi, this is Travis Holtry, Foreman Watson Holtry. Many injury lawyers like to brag about the millions and billions of dollars they've won. At Foreman Watson Holtry, our past clients are more than just a monetary statistic to put on a billboard. They are people who entrusted us with their lives, their health, and their future. And we want to do the same for you. Foreman Watson Holtry, dedicated to you, committed to justice. FWHlegal.com.
Step outside this Sunday and join the community at the Brunch Bunch, live from the lot on 4th Street. Indulge in the mouthwatering delights of the Lure food truck, offering a fusion of flavors that will kickstart your taste buds. Don't miss the Fusion Sports Show, featuring the latest in college and NFL action. Plus, stay tuned for exciting local events. It's all happening with your hosts, Vic and Tatum, every Sunday at 11. Be part of the fun. Be part of the Brunch Bunch.
Saturday night. Kentucky's going to grab a Tiger by the tail. That's what we're about to do. It's the Auburn Tigers and your Kentucky Wildcats.
On your Owensboro home for UK football, 102.7 The Game. Courtesy Foreman Watson Holtry.
Welcome back to the Bleed Blue Kentucky Football Pregame Show on 102.7 The Game. Also live streaming on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. Text us on the Bleed Blue hotline with your takes, your predictions for the game, questions, anything kind of goes. 859-412-2090. We're going to take a look around college football. Usually we do that in the last segment, but I feel like we don't talk about the game kind of to close the show enough. So we're going to take a look right now around the top 25 games that are final. Just in case you had missed this, Boise State comes from behind in the late game last night to beat UNLV on the road 29-24 to keep their playoff hopes alive. Pittsburgh moves to 7-0 with a 41-13 shellacking over Syracuse. Ole Miss wins, come from behind, win at halftime. Oklahoma was actually leading that game 14-10 at halftime. Wins 26-14, shuts Oklahoma out in the second half. Indiana 8-0 for the first time, and I don't know when. They beat Washington 31-17. Navy gets absolutely shellacked by Notre Dame 51-14. Thought that would be an actual close game. It was not. Ohio State wins a very close game against Nebraska 21-17. Needs a stand in the last 90 seconds to win that game. Games that are in progress currently. Oregon all over Illinois 28-3 with a minute 28 left in the half, and Oregon has the ball. BYU is up 17-10 with a minute left to go. UCF just got a field goal to cut that to a one-score game. BYU did a double snap fake field goal for a touchdown. If you have not watched that, you should. For a first down, wasn't a touchdown, first down. All right, was pretty awesome. If you haven't been paying attention, Alabama is up 6-0 against Missouri. 1:57 left in the second. Alabama got a first and goal at the Mizzou 2 and threatening. Vanderbilt does not take advantage of their drive. They were inside of the 40 in Texas territory. I don't know if there was a turnover or what.
An interception on my screen.
All right, so interception for Texas gets a turnover. 14-7. Texas leads that game. 11:31 left in the second. Looking a little bit around the SEC in other games, just because we care about the SEC the most. Arkansas absolutely pummels Mississippi State 58-25. Absolutely just shellacking. Green for Arkansas, 23 of 29 for 314 yards, 5 touchdown passes. That's a good game, right?
That guy was the quarterback with Ashton Genty at Boise State last year with Bush Hampton.
Yeah,
Bush Hampton.
He's good, right? Like,
yeah,
that was a good.
It would have been fun if he maybe could have brought Green in. Well, maybe not.
Green
is like a.
We'll talk about that.
Maybe, but if they could have brought Genty with them, that would have been cool.
That would have been very ideal. Yeah. Obviously, you got Kentucky versus Auburn tonight at 7:45. Kentucky is a 1-point favorite. Still, the big game tonight is LSU at A&M, 6-1, 4-0. Texas A&M against 6-1, 3-0 LSU. Texas is driving. They are now inside of the red zone on Vanderbilt, about to potentially go up 2 scores on Vanderbilt in Nashville. I have no clue if it's like a big Texas contingent or if actually Vanderbilt has a big home crowd. I know it's sold out.
I haven't been able to look down and see, but there are very rarely high Vanderbilt contingents at their own games. So
this happened before.
It has, but I think Texas, Austin, and Nashville are like becoming the same city at this point. So I think that a lot of the Texas people probably want to take it.
Alabama scores a touchdown. Just so they're up 12-0, pending an extra point, 13. Jeremy says on the text line, Stoops has lost a lot of faith in Bush's offense, but we're ranked very low offensively and haven't seen much from the offense so far this season. How are fans supposed to have faith faith, and is it something that can be turned around midseason with what you'd presume would be a pretty low morale on the team right now? I mean, look, I don't. I think the players. I don't know about the morale aspect. I think, look, when you're dealing with a lot of 18 to 21, 22-year-olds, forget a lot. I remember that. I remember being that age. Obviously, I think the morale kicks in if you get punched in the mouth a little bit more. Can you turn it around? Yeah, we've seen Kentucky turn it around midseason before, but I think it is an enigma right now. Like, that's actually not a terrible shot from Jeremy. It is an enigma right now that Kentucky struggled so much with some of the weapons we've had. One of two things: either Kentucky didn't have the weapons we thought that they had going into the season, or the play calling just isn't going. You've seen us move the ball too. Like, we'll put together 5 or 6 plays, move the ball, and then just stop. It's that, like, the play calling from like our end of the field to like our 30-yard to the opponent's 30-yard line is really good.
So you get in scoring position,
and then it's like we don't know how to move the ball.
Yeah, I think some of the problems that we have is that we're kind of limited on skill sets, where I think it is a little bit of some of the weapons not being as much of weapons as we thought. But I don't think that Bush is doing a bad job. I don't know if he's necessarily calling the correct situational plays, a couple plays ahead every time. And I know that's kind of gotten popular on social media, some of the instances where that may be the case. But overall, I think the plays have been good, but it's a tough situation with the line you have, just because you see open receivers. I don't want to go all the way back to Georgia, but that mesh route that, they just couldn't block long enough for it to be open. It was wide open. They have, both of his interceptions last week went off of people's hands. One of them through their hands. So it's tough to say that Bush is having a tough time calling plays when they had a nice play done and it went through his hands for an interception, and that can kill a drive, can kill momentum. Low morale once you face adversity, that's more of where that would come in. If they, maybe it's quicker to give up, but I don't know. I don't think they've lost the locker room. Recruiting and players, energy on the field, it doesn't look like they've quit on the coaching staff or anything like that. I think it's just it's not a match to what they are trying to do and what the players' skill sets, while good, maybe are capable of doing.
Yeah.
California is running Oregon State. They're just the 4th team on the squad that I have. Which game tonight are you most excited for? I know you got a big one tonight.
I mean, I'm excited for the Kentucky game. Boy, Brando's just blowing the text chat up. Is there a chance Bullware gets involved in the play calling, and have there been talks about moving Bush down to the field? I have not heard that, it being Bush. I don't think Bullware or Bush. I moving to the field, I don't know. Bullware, I haven't heard anything. And Jaden, you are being kind. Bush is terrible so far in situational football.
Yeah, I know.
So there's that.
I know Rando is kind of leader of the Bush Hamden.
Somebody else sent a text. So there's too many texts from Kyle Rando on the Bleed Blue text line right now. 859-412-2090 with your questions and hot takes.
Yeah, Bullware. I listened to the podcast this week where he broke down kind of some of the changes he'd like organizationally, and Bush coming down to the sideline is.
That might not be a bad idea.
That could work. If you might as well try it at this point. I don't think it's going to hurt. I mean,
it can't be any worse.
I mean, worst case scenario, he gets in the elevator and goes upstairs at the end of the quarter. Like I think it could be okay. But Bullware with no play calling, experience and Bush. I think the Bush Brock continuity of year 2 quarterback transfer jump, year 2 coordinator jump. Like this is something that they tried to build for to make.
Brock actually brought that up.
Yeah.
In a podcast with Caddis and Bo, and said that no matter what, he didn't want this to feel like a first-year system, but it's a first-year system.
And it looks like it.
And it feels like it, right? So maybe that is part of this. You have a lot of this first year, maybe it's, I don't know if it's glitches. Obviously it feels like we throw to Dane Key, and if we don't throw to Dane Key, we don't throw to a lot of other people. Barryon doesn't seem like he's targeted him. I don't know.
I would really like to see Jamori Macklin.
I would love to see Jamori Macklin get more looks.
Like it's almost unfortunate because it looks like
how about this? The tight ends.
I
mean, even though we did throw to the tight ends last weekend and that didn't work very well, right? Like,
I think you got to keep trying. You have a lot of bodies in that room, some dudes that are good receivers, Kamari Anderson and some of those guys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that. I think that it matters having a jump. They've had 5 coordinators in 5 years, 4 quarterbacks in 5 years. Everybody on the staff not named Vince Marrow has been hired in the last 2 years. I think that they probably need to just keep what they have going and try to use the rest of this season to build continuity between Brock and Bush and whoever is deciding to stay.
Did Vanderbilt get a turnover?
Going into the offseason.
I think Vandy got a turnover. Vandy now has the ball. It's still 14-7.
Yes. I don't know if it was a turnover, but Vandy has the ball like deep in their field.
It looks like Vandy might have gotten a turnover.
I think Oregon scored again, by the way.
I mean, Oregon's just
Are they the best team in the country?
Right now they are.
They might be. Although we're not totally sold on Ohio State, so maybe we should take that into, even though they're super talented.
Listen, right now, but Oregon, a lot of people did pick for a national championship before all of that, really right? Like I think they are very, 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 very good. And obviously, people say, oh, they struggled early in the season, whatever. They have probably one of the most seasoned quarterbacks in the nation too, in Dylan Gabriel, who seems like he's played for everywhere. He's played for UCF. He's played for Oklahoma, and now he's played for Oregon. I feel like he's been in the league. 17 years. Feels a lot like Ziegler at Tennessee. Feel like he's just been playing college ball.
He's back too.
Ziegler signed a contract extension for another 5 years at Tennessee. You didn't know that?
I really don't. He's so it's so annoying when he scores.
As a Kentucky fan, he's just so unlikable.
It's the only word I've really been able to come up with. It's just annoying when he scores. I don't understand why, and it feels like that nobody ever guards him from 3, and he just makes all of them. It feels like so. I don't know. Ziegler's been a pain in my heart for a long time. I don't like him for that.
All right, we're gonna get to our last break. We'll be back and talk about our keys to the game, offensive, defensive players of the game prediction. Get your hot takes in, get your score predictions in. 859-412-2090. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Bleed Blue Kentucky Football Pregame Show on 102.7 The Game.
St. Camilla's Urgent Care and Family Practice is here for all your primary and urgent care needs. Visit stcamillasurgentcare.com to view our list of services, including complete primary care needs, COVID screenings, minor surgeries, minor illness treatments, sports and school physicals, routine screenings, flu shots, and more. With locations in Owensboro, Lewisport, Hardingsburg, and Litchfield, St. Camilla's is your hometown provider for all your primary and urgent care and family needs. Visit stcamillasurgentcare.com.
Step into 270 Tactical, the store that goes beyond just firearms. It's a haven for every shooting enthusiast. Dive into our extensive selection featuring high-grade AR accessories, magazines, even uppers and lowers. Need optics? We carry top-of-the-line Vortex and Loophole optics, perfect for enhancing your accuracy. From specialty orders to a broad range of tactical gear, including Benelli shotguns and bench-made knives, we fulfill all your tactical needs under one roof. Experience tailored expertise and unmatched quality at 270 Tactical today.
Do you know what it takes to feed our nation? It takes hardworking farmers who put in long hours and backbreaking work to bring fresh produce to our tables. Cromwell Media, along with Gavin Roberts of Kentucky Farm Bureau, Farm Credit Mid-America, Commonwealth Central Supply, and Culver's, is taking the time to appreciate their tireless efforts with our annual Meal in the Field. Every Tuesday, Meal in the Field will be feeding our farmers right where they are, on the farm and in the fields. With your nominations, you too can give back to those who give us so much in return. Our local farmers. Nominate your favorite farmer right now on owensbororadio.com/meal in the field. Your nominations help feed the farmers who work so hard to feed us every day. Thanks so much to Gavin Roberts of Kentucky Farm Bureau, Farm Credit Mid-America, Commonwealth Central Supply, and Culver's. Feeding our farmers one meal at a time with Meal in the Field.
Did you know you can turn unwanted, gently used items like furniture, clothing, and housewares into hope for local neighbors in need at Owensboro St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Store, 200 East 18th Street, Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Can't come in? Schedule a pickup at 270-683-0062. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. May God bless you and your family.
Welcome back to the Bleed Blue Kentucky Football Pregame Show on 102.7 The Game. Also live on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's really surprising that this is like the most that's been going on. It's the least screw-ups that we've actually had with commercials.
I mean, yeah, I think we're finally getting a little bit of a rhythm, trying to figure out
It's
how
Kendall's
the
fault.
live show works.
Kendall's the jinx.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was waiting for you to say
Kendall's
it.
the jinx.
I don't see a situation where it's not.
On the text thread, Liam Cohen has made Baker and Godwin look incredible. What would Brock and Jamori do if he was the OC? I don't know. I think they got their absolute backsides beat in this weekend. So I don't know. I mean, they do have 3 losses.
I mean, yeah, I think it. I don't know why people thought that Liam wasn't a good offensive coordinator last year, but without
it wasn't on Liam. I mean, how many drops did we have last year?
The drops,
drops and the cut. Oh, it was so bad. I mean, even Devin Leary got
the quarterback situation was tough.
I mean, Devin Leary also was second in the SEC in touchdown passes last year. It wasn't like Devin Leary is garbage.
Yeah, but he was also first in the SEC in interceptions.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I understand.
That's not like a Liam situation. Liam's not drawing up interceptions.
The offensive line wasn't good. Yeah, the offensive line was not good at pass protection, but we had a lot of drops. I mean, how many touchdowns were dropped? How many first downs were dropped? How many key things in big drives?
I kind of feel similarly about Bush to a lesser extent.
We haven't dropped a lot. Like
I know
up until last week, we hadn't really like had the ball in our hand for a big play, a la Barryon and Dingle, where it was an interception.
Yeah, but some of the fumbles and the protection problems are even when they try to chip, it doesn't work. Which is, if you can't chip an edge and keep them from getting to the quarterback, then I don't really know how much more you can do as an offensive coordinator. But yeah, so that's why I said to a lesser extent, I feel that way about Bush, but I don't know that it's that Bush's plays are keeping us from winning games, if that makes sense.
I mean, look, execution is different, right? Like there's a lot of forms of execution, not just drop passes and things like that. But let's talk a little bit about the keys to the game. This is obviously a big game for Kentucky. They need to win, because if they don't win, we will not have won an SEC home game since Florida last year. Kentucky obviously needs this if they want to go to a bowl game. Winning this means you have to go and you have to also beat Murray State. You have to beat Louisville just to get to 6. Maybe, then you need an upset to get to the to 7 or 8. What are the keys to the game for you, Jaden?
I think the biggest key to the game is going to be to try to keep Auburn in havoc situations. They've struggled with throwing a lot of interceptions, fumbles. They've not been good situationally in the red zone. I think if you can get a pass rush from some of your guys, especially if Dion can play up the middle. If you can get a pass rush and make Peyton Thorne move and throw on the run, I think he's liable to make quick, poor decisions. And offensively, I think it's trying to spread the Auburn, or trying to bring the Auburn defense in is what I was trying to say, because I don't think that they're going to be keying on the run because of some of the injuries we have on the offensive line. There's a steep drop off at right tackle as far as run blocking, but and with the lack of running back depth as well, I think that they think that we're gonna go try to air it out. So I think you have to find some way, whether that's a tunnel screen for a receiver or getting different people involved in the backfield, or more of the Gavin quarterback run. You have to find a way to keep Auburn up against the line and not able to use extra defenders to keep Danke and those guys from getting explosives.
Yeah, I think Kentucky's the biggest thing about this game, no matter which way you slice it, is Kentucky has to limit the explosive plays. Auburn's done a really good job of explosive plays, but also yards per play. The defense has played really well all season, except for last game, which blew my mind. Although I feel like Florida and backup quarterbacks is basically like an Achilles heel for us. I just don't want to talk about it. I need to go to therapy for it.
That's a guy that Liam Cohen tried to get, by the way.
We
recruited him really hard.
Yeah, that's beside the point. I just think
I just wanted to throw that fun thing. We did recruit him.
I just think in general,
we also recruited the Cam
thing.
Coleman guy, the freshman receiver for them that averages like 26 yards of reception.
Texas is now up 21-7. By the way, just throwing that out there.
That's interesting. How do you kind of think the SEC is going to end up shaking out? Like,
man,
which team's going to end up?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, tonight's game, LSU and A&M, is for the number one seed in the SEC.
No one would have thought that about A&M after they got clocked by Notre Dame to start the season,
or LSU getting beat by USC.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's why in the playoff world now, you play the games, but also it doesn't matter as much in the playoff world because 1 or 2 losses and you are not out of it. For Kentucky today, what do you think the key to Kentucky is? I'll go first. I think the biggest thing of this is creating explosive plays. We have to stop nickel and diming our way down the field. I think Wilcox getting more carries is going to be very interesting. We're going to really find out what he's been like. He's a freshman. He's had growing pains. You want to read between the lines on that? Go ahead. There's been growing pains with him overall, I think. Does he step up now and take that mantle? Obviously, he's got RB1 talent and potential. Patterson obviously looked really good early, but Patterson is going to have to come in and do that. How do we get the ball around? Are we going to try and get Barry on more touches? I feel like we haven't done that. We need to stop those little stupid ass bubble screens, if you ask me, with Barry on. Like, just get him the ball in space, right? It doesn't have to be a bubble screen. A slant. Have we thrown a slant to Barry on that you can think about?
Not a lot of them.
Definitely there's not a lot of things there. Maybe they're trying. Maybe they will get him out of the backfield today. Maybe not in a traditional run set, but maybe they pitch outside and see if he can break one. Get him in space and let him do his thing. Kentucky has to get explosive plays. They have to get explosive plays for the last 3 games of the season, 4 games of the season, or 5. What do we got? 5 left, right? 4 or 5 left. The rest of the way. For the rest of the season, we have to create explosive plays. That we have to give the defense. I think the defense is, maybe you saw them wearing down a little bit last week. I think it was that. I think it was also a lot of things, but that's besides the point. Last week is over. Has to happen today. That's the key to the game. Limit explosive plays. I know it sounds cliche, but Auburn's been really good at that. I wouldn't say that in other aspects and other areas. Have to limit Auburn to on the explosive plays, and we have to create our own explosive plays ourselves.
Yeah. So Auburn is very efficient. They're very explosive statistically, and then they get to the red zone and they get lost and they don't know what to do. It's very similar to
like
Kentucky. Very
Except
similar.
they turn the ball over a lot more than we do.
They turn the ball over a lot. They like to give the defense the ball. So I think that Kentucky's overall the main key of the game, just as far as what they need to do, is don't screw up, because these are 2 teams that have loved to screw up and have loved to lose.
It's very nerve-wracking here.
Loved to lose. Well, I bet the number one thing in the Auburn locker room on the whiteboard is
don't screw up,
because it's 2
Vandy
teams.
is driving, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering.
Yeah, so both teams are considerably better than their record says. Both teams have lost to multiple teams that they're just better than.
Both teams could be in a playoff hunt right now.
Both teams are probably top 25 teams, just on paper, talent-wise, but I think that it really comes down to
even here. That hurts my soul.
Which team creates the turnovers, and which team
takes advantage of the turnovers.
Which team puts 7 on the board instead of 3? Because 3 is not going to win the game. They're going to get field goals as well. They're going to be able to move the ball. And it's, like I said, a similar offense to Florida. So I think you need to keep those skinny posts and some of those deep balls away.
Who is your offensive and defensive players of the game for Kentucky, and what is your prediction?
I'm going to start with defense. I think it's going to be Jamon Dumas-Walker, just because if Deion's questionable, I think it takes away some of the double teams and the things that they have to do to our defensive line, even though the guys behind him are good. They're not Deion, where you have to sometimes tag a third guy on him to keep him out from destroying a play. So I think that Pop is going to have to take on maybe more blockers than he's been taking on. And I'll throw out an honorable mention to JQ. I think we need, with Cam Coleman, you just got to limit the explosive. But on offense, I will go with Dane. They have a corner that plays a lot that is out. I know it's the cliche pick.
Quinn Ewers, by the way, has 17 straight completions.
That's pretty good.
That is decent.
That is hard to do.
Yeah, that is decent.
Did we have 17 completions against Vanderbilt?
I don't want to talk about it.
So I'll take the easy call and go Dane, but it would be nice if Jamarion could make us get some explosives, because we're unless Syracuse had one today, us and Syracuse are the only teams without a 30-yard rush on the season. So it'd be cool to get one of those.
On the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go DJ Waller. I think DJ Waller probably gets a pick in this game. Maybe a little. On the text line, just got it. Wilcox will have over 100 yards rushing. UK wins 27-13. I don't disagree with that. I think DJ Waller is the defensive player of the game. Obviously, they like to throw the ball. They try to get out in space. I think he's going to have a big game. So that's my defensive player of the game. Offensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Barryon. I think this is where obviously I think Wilcox might have a good game. I think Barryon maybe gets a kickoff return, a punt return, breaks him.
Mention that kickoff return last week.
But I think
that was insane.
I think this is the game that Barryon I think this is the game where Barryon takes a lot of frustration out on everything that's happened over the last few weeks. And so my prediction is that he is the offensive player of the game. Jaden, what is your score prediction?
Oh, I have been planning all week to flip a coin at this moment, but I didn't have the coin pulled up. So I'll pick Auburn. I'll pick Auburn. I'll play the Curse.
I got one right here. You ready?
Oh, perfect. I would love a coin.
I can grab it. Oh, here you go.
Wait,
I got a coin right here, right there.
That's perfect.
Yep, there's a coin. It's a big it's a big old coin too.
The word side is going to be Kentucky, and it is. Oh, I've thrown it off the camera. That was a terrible play. It is Kentucky.
All right,
we'll go 24-16. That seems fine.
24-16.
Yep.
I am also going to pick Kentucky. I think Kentucky wins the game. I think Kentucky has a little bit of a breakout game. I'm going to go with 31-20.
I'm waiting for it.
I'm going to go 31-20, and I think he gives us a lot of hope going into Tennessee, whatever that looks like. No matter what happens, I still think Kentucky has a chance to beat Tennessee next week. I am not sold on Tennessee still. I think they're probably the worst top 10 team in the country. Overall, defensively, very good. Offensively,
If you don't have an offense, you can never consider yourself, you can't consider a game a lock if you don't have a really good if you don't have a good offense.
If you're like Miami, right? Like Miami has an offense that is a little bit unreal. So we got about 5 more minutes to go we don't. We're done. We're done. We're done. Sorry, I lied. As the music starts kicking in for us. I looked at it wrong. I was like, oh, it's 4, and then my eyes are bad. Appreciate everybody listening. We have almost 500 people on the live stream listening, plus whoever's listening on the radio. We really appreciate it. We have a live show every now Monday through Friday at noon. We're going to be live streaming. Maybe we're going to do it on the radio too. We don't know. That's TBD. Jaden, thanks for joining us. Go Big Blue. Hope everyone shows up at the game today. And go Cats. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Bleed Blue Kentucky pregame show on 102.7 The Game. This has been a broadcast service from Cromwell Media. Join us next game day for more Kentucky pregame action. Thanks for joining us.
Are you ready for some football?